Hi, my name is Ben Labke, and this is our entomology debate. The bug that I am defending is the Triatoma infestans, or also known as the Triatoma bug.
Hi, I'm Kobe Eubanks, and today I will be talking about the Glossiana morstans, which is commonly called the testy fly.
Okay, and the topic of our debate is which insect is the worst vector of disease? I will begin my introduction portion. So just a little bit about the Triatoma infestans. It is in the order of Hemiptera, which means that they can be considered true bugs, meaning they have backward-facing wings and sucking mouthparts. It goes through an incomplete metamorphosis, meaning that it starts as an egg, goes through a nymph stage, and then becomes a sexually active adult with fully formed wings. Triatoma infestans can be found in the South American countries such as Brazil, Argentina, Chile, and Bolivia, and it's a parasite. It has sucking mouthparts designed to pierce the skin of its host and suck their blood. The body of a Triatoma bug is usually flat and thin, but becomes bloated and fat once they drink their fill, which makes it a big splatter when you notice them and slap them. They have wings that are not particularly effective at flying, but it allows them to glide down onto humans and suck their blood, or to mount their mate for reproduction. They tend to attack mammals at night while they are sleeping. Humans will most likely be affected by the Triatoma bug, climbing onto the ceiling and then gliding down and sucking their blood. Your turn.
The testy fly can be classified by its brownish gray color and also its branched artista on the antennae. The reason it is such an effective vector is because its specialized mouthpart used to bite and lap up blood from its transmission of the disease. This fly has the same development pathway like any other flies, includes the embryo, the larvae, the pupae, and the adult fly. This type of fly can be found in the savanna during the wet season in Africa, or they migrate to the shady wooded areas during the dry season. Usually it stays up in the lowland because of their inactivity and lower temperatures. The testy fly The testy fly feeds off of the other animals, such as the lizards, the hippopotamus, meaning they are like parasites to those animals. They not only transmit the disease as a vector, they also can live in the host.
And I would like to argue that the Triatoma bug is the worst vector of disease because it transmits the Chagas disease. That is a parasite that is spread through the saliva of the Triatoma bug that can have significant impacts on the lives of those that it affects. Research estimates that there are 7 to 8 million cases of Chagas disease in 2013, mostly in the Mexico and northern South American states. The disease has 2 stages, the acute stage and the chronic stage. The acute stage happens after initial infection and can last 8 to 12 weeks. Symptoms of the acute stage are typically mild, but they include fever, headache, swollen lymph nodes, and the swelling of the bite zone. After that, 30 to 40% of the infected people will go into the chronic stage, where for the next 10 to 30 years, they will have enlarged ventricles of the heart, leading to heart failure, as well as enlarged esophagus and colon. Treatment only works if you can catch it very, very early during the acute stage, and oftentimes you don't even have the symptoms that would cause you to go get yourself checked. But otherwise, this is just something that you have to live with, so it's very, very difficult.
There is no difference in how the male and the female eat, but the female must eat more during the pregnancy because she is feeding to develop larvae. The testy fly exclusively feed on blood. When you scrape your skin, and your blood contains coagulants that help clot the blood to stop the bleeding and form a scab. However, when the testy fly bites your skin, it releases an coagulants that causes you to keep bleeding, which helps them feed longer. Uh, uh, the fly eaters human circulation, then travels to the brain without treatment, leads to common death. You're muted. I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry, it was muted. Just a question about the triatoma. I mean, sorry, the CC fly. You said that if you get infected and it gets to the brain without treatment, then it can lead to death. Would treatment be an easy option, or is it easy to know that you've been infected before it gets that far, or is it something that most times that you get affected by the CC fly would lead to death?
The effects of once you've been bitten, you mostly will notice swollen lymph nodes, weight loss, the inching of the skin, and then you'll see it will slowly deteriorates the brain, leading to death if untreated.
Okay. So I would argue that the Triatoma infestans is the worst pest because the effects of the Chagas disease are often lifelong. It affects a very, very large portion of the population of South America and Mexico, up to 8 million people. And it's a very, very large bug that gets you while you're sleeping, so it's very hard to prevent. The important thing to remember is to get checked often, but the bug is so prevalent in those countries that it's almost impossible to avoid the bugs, and the and the treatment is, it's expensive, and you have to get your blood looked at by a microscope that experts are often going to miss seeing the parasite in there, and oftentimes it's going to be too late when you get it checked.
With the fly entering through the human and traveling to the brain, these effects can either last you 6 to 7 years if treated. Most are untreated, so they can kill you within months. The test usually feeds through the humans, which after like the testy fly not only can live within the animals, they also when they bite and latch on to humans, they also live inside the human's parasite. Once they bite and sucking enough amount of blood, it buries itself through the skin to live inside the host.
Okay. Just some closing statements. I would just like to say that the Triatoma infestans is more than just a pest. Bites from this gigantic insect can contain parasites that affect you for the rest of your life. The huge populations of this insect have profound effects on the human population, since an estimated 7 to 8 million people were affected just in 2009. The only surefire way to reduce infection of the Chagas disease is to control the population of the Triatoma infestans worldwide. So in order to keep from getting bit all the time and getting infected by this disease that's hard to detect and has lasting, very, very difficult symptoms, you have to reduce the amount of Triatoma infestans that are biting people. So I think that research would be very, very helpful in controlling the population of these insects, and in the research of catching the disease early and treating it after the usual incubation period. So a little bit, being able to treat it a little bit longer after you were infected.
Gotcha. The only thing I would say towards the testy fly is that the disease can be detained with the vaccine shot either before or during treatment. If you get it before, there's less chances of you catching the disease once the testy fly bites you. If you didn't get the shot before, there's been fewer chances of living long after being bitten by a testy fly. So I mean, you can be treated it only lasts so long that you have a long term left to live before passing.
Okay, this concludes our debate. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you.